Hi everyone and welcome to our live service here at Hope United.
We would love to see one of our services in Motherwell at 11 AM or in Dundee at 5 PM.
If you would like any more resources, then you can visit our website www.hopeunited.org.uk.
We hope you enjoy the service as we hear from God's Word.
Week 4, there'll be another week after this, and then we're through it. Because this morning I'm going to go through chapter 9 and 10. Last week we spent almost practically the whole day, and I don't know how you can go through a gospel in like 6-8 weeks. I don't know how you could possibly do that and actually understand it. We can't even do a review in 6 weeks of 12 chapters, never mind go through line upon line in that length of time. Last week, as I says, we spoke mostly on if you abide in my word, you are my disciples indeed, and you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Meaning that, and one of the things it says is that if freedom's coming into your life, or you think freedom's coming into your life, or a sense of freedom's coming to your life with anything other than the word, then it's no real freedom that you're experiencing. It's relief or some other form of satisfaction, some other form of joy, but no real joy. It's not coming through the word, because true freedom only comes through the word. I know that through what the word says, but I also know that through my personal life, where I believe that other things gave me freedom, but they just always gave me relief, you know, and they always grew back. That's why it's called relief. It always grows back. Then it always comes back, and you realise that there's no substance in it. Now, when I say that the only freedom really comes through the word, I don't mean that means that everything's going to be okay. No, it basically just means that you're going to be okay. No, circumstances. God doesn't promise us a brilliant life. This isn't tools for life, Jesus. This is no tools for success and victory. It's. I was with a friend this week, and we were talking about something, and you've heard me saying this. It's really the word of God and the gospel. Really, the true gospel is the opposite effect of what the modern pragmatic church teaches and how it goes about growing. In the kind of philosophical, philosophy, motivational televangelist, can't even go there with that. That's just about money, period. But it's all about you becoming bigger so that you can overcome stuff. It's all about you becoming stronger so you can overcome stuff, tougher so you can overcome stuff. And as that happens, you just need Jesus less. The true gospel is that you grow by. Have you ever seen a film, The Incredible Shrinking Man? No, it's a magic film. I was looking at, I don't know why I thought about it. I was thinking about it the other day, the film, The Incredible. I used to watch it as a wee boy, and it's brilliant because it's really old. It's old, so it's no like, but it's done brilliant. You've got to remember, they didn't have the camera work that they had. So it isn't that the wee boy gets smaller, he was just sitting in a massive chair. That's the best they could do. Do you know what I mean? If you've never seen it, get it. It's an absolute brilliant film, and it's a wee boy, and he starts off about Samuel's size. Man, that's pretty wee, and he just gets weird every day. No, it's like I'm an old-fashioned version of Benjamin Button, right? So, and he just gets weird, and he just shrinks into nothing, and he just becomes. I don't even know why I'm saying it. It's a magic film. You should watch it. It's great. It's a classic. And I was thinking about this when I was preparing and just was talking to my friend, and I was just thinking, I ended up getting wee clips up of the film, and that's what life's like. We're becoming just incredible. You want to become an incredible shrinking man, or an incredible shrinking woman, where you become, and as you shrink, God becomes more. That's the deal. It's the opposite way. As you get bigger, God gets smaller. And as you get smaller, God gets bigger. There's a book I've got in the house. I read 3 pages here. It's a great book. It's brilliant, 3 pages. One of the best I've read. Now I've read a couple of chapters. It's called Small God, Big People. That's what it's called, small God, big people, and it's all about that and how we shrink anyway. And it's not the word that's setting us free for that reason, is because the word will always shrink you, if you like. I remember telling, you've maybe heard me telling the story, I'll be very brief about it. I was in Africa and I was wanting to be, I couldn't believe that I wasn't nominated to be the preacher. No, I mean, never mind carry the, I was nominated to do nothing. But I thought, I heard everybody cheering. See, if you go to Africa, especially where we were away in the sticks, we're in a township. James, you've been there and you've been to the township and you're driving into it, and well, you need to walk miles and you start to hear the cheering. I'm not joking. For miles. And it's the people cheering you coming. Because you're white, man, they think that you've got the answer. And honestly, I was like the donkey in the gospel, thinking, they're cheering me. wait till they hear me. I never even got a word, and I walked in, and I don't want to become, it's just metaphorical. I'm not saying I heard God's audible voice, but internally I felt God. It doesn't even feel right even saying that. I felt internally that God says, get a wee look at that, and it was a balloon. I'm like, all right, balloon boy, that's me, balloon boy now. Right, I'm going to get to preach, I have to look at balloons. So I sat down, another preacher got and preached, then somebody else got and preached, and then there were 4 days there, 3 of them preached, I wasn't allowed. And I remember God saying, look at the balloon. That wasn't audible, but that's what I kind of sensed in my spirit what was going on. And I remember come the end of the meeting, I forgot all about it, and he says, look at the balloon again. And when they came in, because they'd need decor, so they just put a couple of balloons up, making it look. There were no windies. There were no windies in the place. There were openings for windies, but there were no windies. Like, but they're tidy up a wee bit. The super preachers are coming. We put some balloons up. By the end of the service, I had that sense again. Go and look at the balloon, and the balloons went from that size to about that size. Just with the heat, they went to about that. Honestly, they were that size. And again, it was like that. See, once you get to that size, then you can maybe stand up there. See, I went in that size. Once you get to that size, it's different, because then it becomes about him. Anyway, let's move on. This leads us to chapter 9. And this is where Jesus heals a blind man. Chapter 9 of the Gospel of John, the whole of chapter 9, which is rare in any gospel, in any of the synoptic gospels, in any of them, it's rare for it to a whole chapter to be took up with a healing. But in John chapter 9, the whole chapter is took up, and if you remember this, the whole chapter is took up with Jesus healing the blind man. All miracles Jesus done, or of all the miracles Jesus done, none is talked about more in the Bible than healing blind people. None is talked about more. In fact, 4 times it's talked about in John about healing blind people. And it tells us how vital, I suppose, it is to bring sight, and Jesus is the light of the world. There's all the metaphors in it and different things. But here it says in chapter 9, now as Jesus passed by, he saw a man who was blind from birth. And his disciples asked him, saying, Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? And the disciples, by this point, no, this is the last week of Jesus' life here. We're into the last week of his life. So the disciples had walked with Jesus for 3 years. And for those 3 years, they had seen him perform multitude of miracles. He had fed 5,000 with a couple of loaves and fish, or a couple of fish and loaves. He had turned water into wine. He had healed people left, right, and centre. He had raised the dead by this point. And here the disciples, 3 years in to their walk with Jesus, and they're walking along and haven't seen thousands of miracles. Yet they see a blind man at birth, and the disciples' first thought is a theological question. First thought is a theological question. It's not on their radar to love the man. It's not on their radar to ask Jesus to heal the man. The first port of call is, let's ask a theological question. And no matter where we're at, and you know where we've been going in the journey in church, we talked about it last week, and you can go so far. The first port of call for believers is no theological question. The first port of call for a Christian is compassion. No theology. Jesus sees a man in need, and the disciples see a theology lesson. Some difference, eh? I think we can be like that. You see people, you meet people, and before you... I've been to conferences, I've met people all over the place, and the first time I meet them, especially if they're really religious and theological, don't want to say anything, just deep. I think, hello would have been nice. How you doing? Nice to meet you. What's your name? I'm not looking for a theological debate at hello. You know, I'm looking for how you doing, nice to see you. I want a deep theological debate. You're like, dweep. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Just you have some humanity at the beginning of the conversation, at least. Oh, let's delve into some theological. Let's not bother. Let's just say hello. No, what's your name? You married? Any kids? Oh, it's just not. The first thing that Jesus sees when he sees this man is compassion. First thing that the disciples see is a lesson. Everybody's a lesson because he's a project. People are no projects. No, they're not. It's as if they're a project. They know how to fix you. They know how to analyse you. Jesus sees a man in need. The disciples see a theological lesson. Let me add something else here that I mentioned. I mentioned this when I spoke about this. I can't remember when we were at chapter 9. I think it might have been August or something last year. I can't remember. It will be in my notes what date it was, but I can't remember. Yeah. Here's Jesus. Let me just get a bit of context here. Here's Jesus here. He's in Jerusalem. He's just spent a whole day being hated, being rejected, being abused, being belittled, hated. In fact, they were planning on killing him. They were planning on murdering him for a long while, but they're really planning to murder him now. He's been hated. They're ganging up on him. They're telling lies about him. And it has no effect, this is the key, it has no effect on what he's doing whatsoever. That's ouchy, isn't it? That's ouchy. Because as humans, if we were facing that level of rejection, that level of hatred, that level of bitterness towards us, we usually don't see empty. We're too busy nursing our own anger, or our own resentment, or our own bitterness. Jesus has fled a hostile scene where he faced heavy abuse, yet at no given point has it affected his compassion. Of course it hasn't. However, we're called to become like Christ. So the question is, how often do we miss seeing hurting, afflicted people because we're too busy consuming our own battles in our daily walk? Think about the people you walk by every single day. It often comes to me, people you walk by, people you don't notice every single day in your life. There's people you don't notice in your life because you're too busy going about your business. But there's people in your life that you notice even less, and even the people close to your life, because you're too busy trying to get love than you're trying to give love. Imagine Jesus saying to the disciples when they ask, who sinned? Imagine this, right? Imagine the scripture says this. Because this is what it would be wrote if it was about me. Right? See if it was about me, this is what it would be saying. Imagine Jesus saying to, so the disciples say to Jesus, Lord, who has it sinned here? And Jesus says, I don't care. I don't care who's sinned. I can't deal with that at the moment. I'm too busy trying to go over the lack of love I got. That's the gospel of Mark, the different Mark. I'm too busy nursing my resentment. I'm too busy being bitter about what they said about me. What happened to me back at the temple? I don't care about the wee man. I don't even know if he's wee. Everybody's just a wee man in Scotland. Eh? I don't care if he's wee. I don't care if he's wee, no. I don't care if he's blind. I don't care if he's blind. None of you even got that. I don't care if he's blind. I can't see anything at the moment that's going on in anybody else other than what happened to me. I can't see anything other than what I didn't get. Jesus has been totally rejected. I don't mean even... There's a difference between thinking you've been rejected and then there's been totally rejected. Most of us don't suffer for that level of rejection. We might get the wee bits and bobs, but you don't suffer for that level of rejection. You might think you've been rejected. He suffered at the hands of real abuse. He's came to love people, serve people. He's done no wrong, and they reject him. Yet never once broke his stride. Never once broke his stride. And that's, see, whatever you hear today, just take a wee note of that and go, you know what, see, this week I'm going to I'm trying for perfection. I'm not trying to be perfection here. See, this week here, I'm going to try and notice people, even though loads of things will happen to your life. You know, there's nothing that makes us more Christ-like than loving and serving and caring about people. We all want that, don't we? I'm sure we do. I'm sure if you're a believer, you want that. You want to love people in spite of what's going on in you. You really do. We all do. If we're at all human, but you don't even need to be saved to desire that. Jesus, totally rejected by them he came to give life to, never broke his stride. People's opinions never stopped him doing what he'd done and believing what he believed. Not one bit. You know, in all the years of being a pastor and meeting pastors, I don't mean them all. That wouldn't be true. No, I've met loads or no that. See the humble ones. See the ones that serve people, love people. See all the meetings I've ever sat and all the meals I've went. I could count in one hand the conversations we've had about people hurting us. It never comes up. Because it's a given. It's a given. We don't talk about that. We're talking about we're talking about how we're going to love next. It's a given. It's no a, let's share our tales about who's hurt us or who's offended us or who's... It's not a pity party. Rarely have I been to a pastor pity party. Rarely. Where we all talk about who's hurt us, who's offended us and why we can't move on. It's... What next? Don't get me wrong, I wanted to talk about it. But no, they just wouldn't allow me. People's opinion, people's response, people's reaction. People's reactions had absolutely no bearing on what he'd done. And we look at our life and we probably go through our life and we go, people's responses to me, people's reactions to me is such a massive effect on how I love, how I see people, what I pursue. The disciples, well, they seen him as a subject to debate over. They hadn't even been rejected. They hadn't even been rejected in Jerusalem at the temple. And they still don't see him. And like Job's friend, the first thing they ask is, what's the guy done to be like that? They're actually saying what you hear in church or I've heard in church. What have they done or what have they done to be like that? You know, see if somebody's weeping in church, don't presume they're dead. Oh, I wonder what's happened. Maybe nothing. Maybe they're just drawn close to God and that's just, who knows what's happened? It's none of your business. Churches became obsessed, and like these disciples, became obsessed with finding the cause. Finding the cause of everybody's problems, isn't it? The church is obsessed with finding the cause of everybody's problems. And I'm not saying that finding the cause is no important. We have to, at times, we have to diagnose things right. And so I don't want to fling the baby out with the bathwater there and say it's no important. However, it becomes the only thing. Because we think finding the cause is healing. No. See, you get cancer and you find the cause, you don't get healed, you just know what was wrong with you. You're not in the process. when we over-obsess about the cause like the disciples did, they've missed the greatest thing, that they've missed who Jesus is. Jesus says the only cause, this is what Jesus answers more or less, he says the only cause is my name being glorified. It matters no the cause near as much as it matters the solution. And we become more obsessed with the cause than we do the solution. How often have you sought a solution? In fact, we'll all have done this. We've sought solutions or sought an answer for every problem I've ever got, and every permutation, and every situation we've ever got. And prayer seems to be about 25 on the list. And even when it is prayer, it's cardinal prayers. Cardinal prayers are prayers that, I know the church will tell you this, and you'll hear this in the modern church. Jesus wants to hear all your problems. That's no... They're cardinal prayers. God, help this happen, and help me get this, and help me get that, and help me get the man I want, and help me. That's cardinal prayers. No, but the word explains it. Sinful prayers. Sinful prayers. Sinful prayers is, you know, imagine this. Imagine your son or daughter keeps coming at you, and they keep on coming. You think God wants to hear all about it. Right. Imagine your son or daughter keeps coming at you saying, I want a skateboard. And you go, I'm glad he came and kept on asking for that. That's not a blessing, isn't it? No. I don't know. I don't find that. I don't go like, oh, bless him. He's wanting a mountain bike. You know, see your son or daughter comes to you and say, Mom, Dad, you know, I've got a situation. I'm struggling with something in my life. That's a blessing, isn't it? It's not coming and just constantly asking for stuff. You know, it's coming and want to be like Christ. And I know you've maybe been taught in church for years that you have to take everything to God because that's what he tells you. Cast all your cares upon him because he cares for you. You know, it's what kind of cares. When we bring our prayers and petitions to God, the motive is no. The motive and goal should no be help me get what I need and help me get what I want and help me take away this and help me take away that. It's drawn close to God. It's first coming as a sinner. We probably don't even do that. Many is, and we seek solutions, sought answers without praying, made decisions without asking. You ever asked for advice and you've already decided? Can I run this by you? I sometimes go like, no, you can't run it. You can't run it by me because you've already, what you want me to do? Confirm what you've already decided? You want me to run, can I run this by? No, you can't run it by me because I'm not giving you permission to, I'm not going to be privy to your pursuit. Yet all the while slipping more into self-sufficiency, self-indulgence, worldly solutions. I was speaking to somebody again this week, as I do each week, and I was asked a series of questions. I says, who can get you eternal life? Jesus. Correct. Who else can take your guilt and shame? Nobody but Jesus. Who can wash you clean? Nobody but Jesus. Okay. Why do you pursue man? If it's only Jesus that can give you the things that's important, why do we pursue man for anything, really? Jesus then goes on and says in verse 3, no one has sinned. He isn't saying the man has never sinned. What he's saying is the sin isn't caused the problem. Big difference. He's not saying the man's no sinned. He's saying the sin's no causing the deficiency. No all deficiencies sin. Some things are, but some things aren't. However, no deficiency is a license to sin. It's the difference. No deficiency is a license to sin. Mental ill health is no excuse to abuse somebody. It's not an excuse to hurt somebody. It's not an excuse to abuse people because you feel rejected or threatened or abandoned or you didn't get your aim. It's not an excuse to sin. There's no excuse for sin other than you're a sinner. And that's why we have to separate that. And Jesus does that. So he's saying it's not saying anybody's sin. No, everything is attributed to sin, but everything can be attributed to purpose. Jesus is saying, in effect, to the disciples, it's a call to action. This is what he's saying. This is a call to action. It's not a call to a debate. Jesus then spits, does something crazy. He spits in the ground, makes mud, you remember? Makes mud, spits in the ground, makes mud, plops in his eyes. And much theological debates going about why did he spit in the mud and what was he doing and what was he doing. There's millions of theological debates, but there's none in the Bible that tells you why, other than this. The best solution is Jesus can heal any way he wants. There you go. There's no perfect... Because otherwise you got all the televangelists starting to copy what Jesus did. Yeah. You know what I mean? You ever been to one of the straighten the leg stuff? You sit in one leg's bigger than another. If one leg was bigger than another, you'd be walking about like that. They might be a wee bit. Well, you go and sit in your lap, right? Your legs, and then you get them sitting down. You sit in a seat, I'll do it. It's that one. I've done it a million times. I don't want to do it on the cross. It's that one, isn't it? It's that one, isn't it? See it? Watch it. It's good. Fad in the name. In the name. Wow! The miracle! Jesus can heal any way he wants. Doesn't need to follow a pattern. One thing for sure is there's no shoving, no pushing, no slapping. In the name of Jesus, no slapping, no blowing. Seen that one? No clicking. I was at a Pentecostal pastor's thing, and the guy decided to... Oh, what a gift. What a gift. I feel closer to Jesus just by looking at you. It wasn't until years later that I seen Kenneth Hagin doing it. Kenneth Hagin's a heretic. Televangelist heretic. And he was going about... I didn't know that Kenneth Hagin done it. I didn't even know who Kenneth Hagin was. But then when I did see Kenneth Hagin, it put me in mind of the wee guy who I seen round there, and I thought, he's just doing what Kenneth Hagin done because he thinks Kenneth Hagin's anointed. That's a redneck, innit? Honestly, just seeing our terms, redneck. See if I see the guy, if I had to see Kenneth Hagin doing that now, and I seen the guy, I would like to go up to him and go, redneck. I seen Kenneth Hagin doing that, and you're copying him. Redneck, mate. That's what I'd say to him. I'm not saying that in a laugh. I'd say that. And I'll tell you why I would say it come the end, because you might think I'm just being controversial. I'm no. Well, but I'm not for just controversial sake. Redneck. No clicking, no slapping, no blowing, no holy laughing. Imagine Jesus getting up to the blind man. Redneck. You psychopath. Well, I'll tell you something. I was blind, but there's nothing better than somebody laughing right in my face. That's what I needed. None of that. No holy laughing, waving. No shaking. Nothing. Made mud, put it in the guy's eyes. Yeah. You start seeing that, you maybe start thinking something's going on there. None of that. When did the miracle happen? Yep. Always. Nearly always. On the Sabbath. Jesus loved healing on the Sabbath. Okay? Don't know why that's churches think they can have healing meetings on the Sabbath because Jesus healed on the Sabbath. Jesus healed on the Sabbath for a reason. Jesus always healed on the Sabbath for a reason, and his reason for healing on the Sabbath was this. Because he'd always a bigger story involved. He always had a bigger picture. He always had something he wanted to say. Jesus loved performing miracles on the Sabbath. What were you not allowed to do on the Sabbath? Make mud. You were allowed to spit, though. Not in folks' eyes, but you were allowed to spit. Why did Jesus no heal in mass? Because Jesus was about personal relationship for a start. He was about intimacy. He was also about showing his divinity. That's what the key was. These things were done that you may believe. Yeah. Yeah, this is the whole purpose of John's Gospel. These things were done that you may believe that Jesus is the Son of God and that you would have life in his name. Not just the miracle worker. These things were done so that they would believe. Over the years, there's been much studies done on children who suffer in later years for the lack of human affection. Yeah. There's also, listen, see, you're a parent here, we're all privy to this at some point, so thank God we're saved by grace. You know, I used to talk about this stuff, and you see parents just being devastated with this stuff, because who's perfect? You just, the way you go about your thing, you know who you are. Listen, if you don't get a manual, you know, you look back and you go, oh, I wish I knew that then. I wish I knew that then, but so there are much studies been done on that. There's also pre-consumed neglect, what I've called over the years, pre-consumed neglect. That's where the nurturer is too busy trying to get love and consume with their own stuff, maybe their own resentment that was going on, like if you parallel it with that. They were too busy trying to get love that they've no time to give love. Or if they do, it's for personal gain. Or to try and get healed yourself or soothed yourself. I'm sure we've all done that at times. So see, I don't want us to sit there and go, oh, devastated with that, you know. But we've all done it. I'm not saying that to devastate anybody. We're just saying this to highlight the point of the importance of connecting with people and having the human touch. Busy trying to get love that they've no time to give love, or they do, it's for personal gain and no genuine affection. We've all probably done that. We've all experienced it, and we've probably all done it. Often in later years, and this is what ends up happening, it affects people's ability to notice people. The most selfish people, if you look back, the most selfish people are people who are not necessarily just mollycoddled, although that can be it. But people that were pre-consumed neglected because they don't see people as people. Kind of pre-consumed neglected, they're just self-obsessed. They just don't think about themselves. Affects people's ability to notice people and have compassion on people. I was recently reading about Charles Hodge, a 17th century, early 18th century Princeton seminary, Princeton principal. Charles Hodge, amazing man, known as his time in that era as being the greatest theologian of his time. And his son, A.A. Hodge, Archibald Hodge is his name. And I'm reading a biography in A.A. Hodge, and he's talking about his father. This is what he says. It's a brilliant book. It's actually about the Westminster Confession, but it's easy to read. It's not theological. He's made it relatable, and he showed his human side as he's writing it, which is brilliant. But this is what it says near the start of the book. I'll just read start of the book. This is what he says about his dad. He played with us. He nursed us. When he was studying, we played around his feet. However, my greatest memory was when he prayed with us. He would be so personal to God about us that as he prayed for us and prayed with us, so when he would be praying, he'd be using their children's names. God, I'm bringing Samuel to you. I'm bringing Holly to you. I'm bringing Anna to you. Papa, you're bringing your child into the prayer, and you're personalising it with God. You have a personal relationship with God, and you're sharing it. It's an important thing. And you're starting to pray, and you're praying with your kids, and you're praying on their behalf, and you're sharing your petitions to God about them while they're there. And he says he would be so personal to God about us that as he prayed, we would fall to our knees around him as our worries and concerns slipped away. Isn't that beautiful? A. Hodge became a phenomenal pastor and a missionary. He then later became the dean of Princeton University in its day, no, now it's secular now, it's liberal gone daft, but in its day, Princeton University in America, New Jersey in America, was known as the forerunner in training pastors and ministers in theology. You go there today and there's nowhere near it. But then it was everybody that was training for the ministry would go through. It was the pinnacle to go through Princeton. Charles Hodge's father was a known, amazing scholar and teaching there. A. Hodge's son became one. When he first got married, he went to India on his honeymoon, spent 2 years there, helping the broken and the hurting and bringing the gospel to the worst of the worst, or the best of the best, whatever way you want to look at it, to the poorest people. He then suffered from illness and had to come home. Became the much-loved Dean of Princeton University. He was loved, this is what I read, he was loved by all the students because he deeply loved all the students. I think he'd seen that in his life and he'd never lost that humanity and touching people's lives. It didn't become a theological debate. You know, Charles Haddon Spurgeon never ever went to seminary school, ever. It's one of the things why some of the Puritans, he's probably the last great Puritan, he never ever went to seminary. He's one of the only guys that never went to seminary. Dr. Martin Lloyd-Jones never went to seminary either. That's very unusual for scholars like that. Never ever went to it. And I think, I'm not saying it's wrong or right. It stood him in good stead. When Charles Haddon Spurgeon's seminary school started, you could not get in unless you were already making a difference. Isn't that good? You couldn't get in because you want to learn theology. You get in because you were already evangelising and already making a difference to people's lives. That was the primary. That was your qualification. Your qualification wasn't A levels, and your qualification wasn't theological academia. Your qualification was, are you already get the feet in the hands of Jesus walking in your life? First and foremost. Because see, if you don't have that first, see, when you get caught up in all that, you've got nothing. And Jesus was always showing the disciples, you know what, we're not going to study deep theology here. Because that's what all the Jewish people are doing, and they're serving nobody. Yeah. Well, we're studying deep theology. First and foremost, we want to care about people. I need to move on. There's no clock here, but I need to move on. The next, nobody notices what she was doing there, but nobody. It's definitely not that time to go. And if it is, these folk will have a heart attack. Okay, so the next day they want another meeting with Jesus. So here we go, we move on. They wouldn't ask him on the Sabbath why he healed the man and made mud on the Sabbath. They would never ask on the Sabbath why he healed the man and made mud, because it would be even worse to ask the question. How deluded is that? So they had to wait till the next day. And the only way you could heal a man on the Sabbath, wait till this, the only way you could heal a man on the Sabbath was if it was a matter of life and death. This is very important. This is why it's so important to study all the scripture and not just take a wee passage and have some metaphor and some angle about what it means to heal a blind man or what it means to heal the man who was lame for 35 years. You need to read the whole scripture to get the understanding to why he only healed a blind man. Why did Jesus heal blind men on the Sabbath? Why did he heal a man who was 35 years lame on the Sabbath? Why? Because that was no a life or death. That could wait till tomorrow. Could you not wait till tomorrow to fix that? You know, he's been blind, and that's why it was a blind man who was blind. How long? All his life. Wasn't he a blind man who got blind 3 weeks ago? It was a blind man who was blind all his life. Highlighting again, that could have waited till tomorrow. Why did he heal a man who was lame for how long? 35 years. Why 35 years? That could have waited till tomorrow. See, he's highlighting the ludicrousness of religion. It's not a matter of life and death. That's madness. This is not a day to help the broken. This is a day for systematic theology. This is a day where we adhere to rules. And Jesus is like, stuff your rules. I think that's what I love about Jesus the most. He's just like, I'm not playing to the rules at times. And anyway, he knows where exactly the religious people are going. I need to really move on. As chapter 9 unfolds, the religious people bring the parents. Remember, they bring in parents to interrogate the man. The parents can't even stick up for the son. They're not even excited that the son's well. They're too consumed and too fearful about what people think of them. So frightened about what people think of them that they'll be de-synagogued. They're that frightened of being de-synagogued they can't even accept and celebrate what their son's done. But here's the thing. What happens is the Pharisees argue. The man and the blind man, as you read the story, you realise that he's not a theologian at all. In fact, he's not really a good scholar in Jewish religion whatsoever, even though he's a Jew. He doesn't really understand. Because he didn't even know that it wasn't all right to do certain things in the Sabbath. So it doesn't look that he was a Jew that adhered to everything. But here's the thing. He starts to debate. The blind man starts to debate and school the Jewish people. I love it. If you read it, you're going to... He schools them. Do you know why he schools them? Because you can't argue with a changed life. You cannot argue. Doesn't matter what theology you go. You cannot argue with a changed life. And he's got a changed life. Jesus fulfills the whole purpose of his ministry in that healing. And as you walk through chapter 9, you see Jesus has planned every single thing to the detail. He heals without merit. He confronts the futility of religion. He separates them who believe from them who don't. And then he empowers the redeemed to be used for his glory. We'll bring this into a close by just get into chapter 10 a bit. And I know but I've got to be quick here. This is brilliant where we go here next in chapter 10 and where we went. Which is all about false shepherds, false teachers, false converts for that matter. And I said there, why would that sound controversial? But this will explain a wee bit of that. John 10:10 is one of the famous scriptures you'll see quoted everywhere. The thief does not come except to what? To steal, kill and destroy, but I have come that you may have life and more abundantly. Jesus is still in the same day. He's still running about the same crowd. He's still teaching the same lesson. He's at the exact same place. It's not the next day. It's not 3 days later. He's in the exact same place having this continued debate with these religious people. Jesus has just healed the blind man and here he is about to teach another lesson. As false teachers, as the thief, Satan, yeah. But the thief's also false teachers. And this is where Jesus goes in chapter 10. So yes, the thief is Satan, but the thief is false teachers who teach the wrong gospel for selfish gain. The Pharisees of today are televangelists. Hold on to your heart. Many Catholic priests. So they're the Pharisees of the day. Televangelists, Catholic priests, prosperity gospel preachers, and some charismatic, quite a lot of charismatic miracle chasing crowds. They're the Pharisees of the day. This is who Jesus is. This is who we're addressing here. And the downright pragmatic psychology gurus. Jesus says in verse 1, most assuredly I say to you, he who does not enter the sheepfold by the door, but climbs up some other way, the same as a thief and a robber. Anyone who teaches anything other than Christ is a robber, a thief, and a false teacher. And he says in verse 2 and 3, but he who enters by the door is the shepherd of the sheep. To him the doorkeeper opens, and the sheep hear his voice, and he calls his own sheep by name. I love that. And calls them by name, and leads them out. Jesus is the door, okay? The pastors are the doorkeepers, and the sheep are the congregation. Notice first what happens. The doorkeeper opens the door to the word. First thing that happens, the doorkeeper opens the door to the word, or to Jesus. He is the word. The doorkeeper opens the door to Jesus. I know that sounds obvious, but honestly, there are many, many church doorkeepers who have closed the door in Jesus and opened the door to all sorts of people. Gurus, business leaders, massage therapists, In church. Puppeteers. Okay, that's a hobby. It's all right, the kids. Pop singers. Huh? Let's get Kanye in. You're only getting Kanye because it brings a crowd. Kanye needs to sit down and sit under the authority of the Word of God and grow up. Before he goes and... Imagine being saved 2 weeks and you're speaking in front of 30,000 people. You don't know anything. I'm not saying Kanye's saved or no. I don't know where Kanye's at, but I do know this. He's not got the authority. He's standing in front of tens of thousands of people in a pulpit after being saved a couple of weeks. And tell us theology and tell us how to live and share the word. But they'll get him. Because they're closing the door on the word and opening their door to Kanye. Pop singers, yoga masters. Yoga masters in church. Oh, we've got a yoga guy coming, he's helping us breathe. Really? Really, is he? Is he? Did he? Aye. Brilliant. Get the yoga guy and he's helping us breathe. What was the other one I read about recently? This is a belter, this one. Fatigue counsellor. A fatigue counsellor. Somebody help you be less knackered. Really, in church. Help you be less knackered. Stop doing what you shouldn't be doing. Start doing what you should be doing. Oh, that's deep. Fatigue counsellor. There's a fatigue counsellor conference. At church. For everybody that's burnt out for loving people too much. Not. They're knackered with studying the word. Some therapy for me, this. Comedian evangelists. Don't know the word, but crack you right up, man. Oh, you need to come and hear this guy. Cracks you right up, man. Oh. Comedian evangelist. Nothing to do with the word, but he's hilarious. Unsaved psychologists. See, the doorkeeper shuts the door in the word. He opens the door in something else. Unsaved psychologist. Healing ministers. Somebody can heal quiffy eyes. Right? That was the guy who was there for Australia. One of the churches in Glasgow. That was his real gift was the quiffy eye healer. No, somebody who was really blind, just partial. They could part, no, many fingers, about 4. I could see that before you came. Healing ministries. We're getting healing ministries in. Healing ministers. Who do what? What do they start to do? Feed the sheep man-made food. You see that? That's what psychologists will do. They'll feed you man-made food. That you'll keep thirsting and hungering for, and it'll build you up and puff you up. Know the word. Start feeding you man-made food. Start to turn them, there's something wrong with a believer when they feel more comfortable inviting somebody to hear a comedian evangelist than sit under the authority of the Word of God. There's something fundamental wrong with a believer that feels more I'll invite them to that because they're quite funny. But I'm not going to invite them to church to sit under the Word, but I'm going to invite them to come and listen to this funny comedian evangelist. There's something fundamental wrong with a believer that's more comfortable doing that. I mean, when I'll tell you what the fundamental problem is, you're ashamed of the gospel. You hear a pin drop in here when I sometimes say things, can you? The great thing about preaching the gospel is you need to be able to wipe the smile and the laugh out of people's face in a second. I mean, you want to go for a laugh to that in a second. That's good. We'll get a laugh in a minute. And what it does is, when you feed the sheep that, what we're building in church, what we're raising up in church, gurus. Everybody's a guru, isn't they? Everybody's a flipping guru, isn't they? In recovery programmes, you go to, honestly, I was in AA for years, and they say after years, they forget their primary purpose. Like, what do you know? I'm a guru. You're a guru. All right. You're a guru now. You've got the answers to everything now. You're a guru. You're going to raise guru when you're having guru teaching. What is it you do now? Oh, I'm a psychologist. No, you're a psychologist. No, that's what you're getting constantly fed in the church. Or wherever. What are you now? Oh, I'm a business entrepreneur. There's a church in Glasgow and the pastor's not called a pastor, he's called a entrepreneur. Spiritual entrepreneur. Come here, I give you a right good kicking. Spiritual entrepreneur. What are you talking about? You're supposed to be a doorkeeper that brings in Jesus and allows the word to speak into people's life, that builds them into disciples and builds them into being people that look like Christ, not some guru tree hugger. Feeding the sheep man-made food. Gurus, healers, therapists. What is it you are? What's your gift? What's your gift? No, you know what I mean? You say that. What's your dream? What's your dream? How feel for it? What's your dream? What's your dream? What's your dream? What are you trying to become? What would you love to be? What you want? I want to be a chef. I'll help you become the best chef. We're going to help you become the best chef. We're going to give you tools to become a chef. What, knives? I'm going to give you we're going to give you tools to be. Here's about being a chef. If you want to be a chef, fine. You like cooking, that's fine. That's brilliant. We're not trying to make you into the world's best chef. We're trying to make you into the world's best believer while chefing. Sorry, cooking. Draws that crowd. Gurus, healers, therapists, business entrepreneurs. Oh, thank God I'm in church. You know, I've just got the dreams out of my heart and I just became so successful in my business. What are you talking about? I'm not saying that God doesn't want to bless our life. That's a byproduct, isn't it? First seek the kingdom of God and all his righteousness. Rock star worshippers. It's not about getting a hit in the chart. I want a song in the charts. What do you mean a song in the charts? You ever seen the Grammys? I mean, the Oscars is full of ego folk, but the Grammys is a whole other level because they're not trying to sell a film, they're trying to sell them. Well, that is really full of granola, fruits, nuts and flakes, that stuff, you know. It really is, because it is. People cutting about with a record on their head and cutting about looking like a domino and all that. I mean, it's mental. Rock star worshippers. You bring in a rock star worshipper to talk to you, you're going to feed people who want to become rock star worshippers. I want to be Kanye. No followers, no sinners saved by grace and sanctified by the word. You know what we're raising up now? Geniuses. We're raising up geniuses. We a gift for the world. A gift for the world. The power to heal. The School of Supernatural Ministry. Redding, California, Bill Johnson's church. The school that you go there to learn how to raise folk for the dead and all that. Aye. There were a local guy, him and his wife shipped out there. They were pastoring in Glasgow. They shipped out there, sent us a letter to the church asking us if we want to fund them while they're going to the School of Supernatural Ministry. Sent us a letter. They were on vacation for 3 months in the California hills with their kids right enough. Then they decided to go to Bill Johnson's School of Supernatural Ministry to become supernatural ministers. I just wrote to them and says, God, you want to ask God to give you a supernatural job that will actually pay for it instead of us paying for it while you're sitting there trying to become a healer? Want to heal you your deluded laziness and not getting a job? You think that's harsh? You should have read the letter that they were asking for the money. Why? So they're getting fed, but maybe there's another reason, and I will close with this. What causes that? The doorkeeper stopped preaching the word. Brought his own word. Decided what the people need more than Jesus. Wait, I'll decide what they need because I know people. I'm a psychologist. I know what people need. Decided to please the crowd and the desires of the non-saved to come. Not just the unsaved, the total heathens who come looking. I'm not really into church, but the business guy speaking. Seriously. The CEO of Amazon's coming. I'm not really bothering about the word, but listen, bro, he's amazing. Isn't that pathetic? Because he thinks that'll grow church and it'll bring entrepreneurs and it'll certainly bring more money. It'll bring business people into church. Pursuing their own fame. But when you open the door to the word, hear this. This is my close. When you open the door, this is my second close. When you open the door for the word, there's no room for the psychology guru. Don't need them. Obsolete. Comedians. Not looking for a laugh, although it's all right to have a wee bit of humour. Not looking for a rock star with a long shirt, with a Canadian Mountie hat, cutting about dancing like a freak. Skinny jeans and all that one. Well, not going there. Folk singer. Well, we'll have somebody, they're not that bad, they're a folk singer. Here we go now. Having a folk singer night. Business entrepreneur night. Guy that owns 50 Starbucks franchises. I don't care how many Starbucks franchises you know. I want to know what you know about the word, because that's the only thing you're going to be allowed to feed this flock. And why do we not want it? Because when the word starts, it starts to cleanse the house. And it starts to steward the house. And guess what? This is the amazing thing. This is dead encouraging for you all here. You will not tolerate anything else. Yeah. Let me put it another way. Believers have no desire for that stuff. True believers have no desire for that stuff. Jesus is the door. We opened that door. That's what we've done in this church. I know you think that the door was open to Jesus, but the door wasn't open to the word enough. And now we're being fed the word that nourishes us. It closes in, I'll close the verse 4 and 5. I love this so much. And when he brings out his own sheep, this is Jesus, he goes before them and the sheep follow him. Which hear this? For they know his voice, yet they will by no means follow a stranger, but will flee from him, for they do not know the voice of strangers. Believers are no interested in gurus and business gurus. They're no interested. It has no appeal to them. If we preach the true undiluted word, his sheep will follow. It's how we know who are true followers and who aren't. Them who love and follow the word are his. And also them who can't stand it, nor comprehend it, nor are remotely nourished when they hear it. See, believers are not nourished with anything else other than the word. Nothing else nourishes you but the word. This is the greatest thing. You think, my life's no great, I know, but you keep coming here. Yeah. This isn't exactly party in the park, is it? At times, isn't it? No. Sometimes sitting here squirming. I'm squirming up here. I'm squirming, I'm studying it, what I've got to deal with. I'm not meaning you, I'm meaning me. This isn't make you feel good Sunday. But believers love the word, and you cannot hear nor sit under anything else. That's what cleanses and builds your church. You preach the word, guess who comes? Believers and future believers. True believers follow the word. See, if the church is no preaching the word, you ain't got to keep going if you're a believer. And you're going to end up thinking, there's something wrong with me. No. Keep going, I'm going there. Believers just are like a magnet to the word. It's an amazing thing. That's why I want to encourage you. Fraser, do you want to come up? You're here because you love the word. You stayed because you love the word. Yes, we may have differences. There'll be some differences, but you stay for the word. And as long as we build the church on the word, God will send believers and elected believers. A true believer will never, ever be led away by a false teacher. Yeah. Slowly but surely, you'll be sitting in church and you'll be wondering, I'm not getting this. This is doing my nothing. Mm-hmm. There'll be a period when you're thinking there's something wrong with you. Oh, I'm not getting it. These folk seem to be succeeding and I'm not. You're like, I'm not getting fed. I'm starving to death here. You may be loyal for a time. A true believer will eventually never be able to follow anything but the word of Jesus. Nothing else makes sense. And it's the only thing that really makes sense. I said at the start, I've been getting a bit of stick, I still do. And still get it for calling out people. Even calling them out by name, false teachers. Oh, don't call them out by name, they're God's people. Some are. Listen, this is what I'm not trying to do. I'm not trying to take down or belittle the false teacher. I'm trying to appeal to the elect who's in there. We're trying to get the believer to hear the voice and the word of God to get them out. It's no stealing sheep. It's getting them back in the right pen. I don't care what pen they're in. I'm not trying to get them here. I'm trying to get them out of there. And out of the place where they're not hearing it. Because in these places, they're elect. There's believers. And they're starving. And they're being continually frustrated with the rock star church. And they're being frustrated with the psychology teacher. They're getting frustrated with... There's other folk that love it. Leave them to it. But there's them in there who cannot stand it and wondering why their life's not growing and changing and getting better. There must be something wrong with me. Why am I no special like them? And like, because you're the elect. Because you can't hear it. Because you can only hear the word. You can't hear anything else but the word. This is an amazing thing. So you're maybe going to leave here and you go, you know what, life's not great. I know, but you can't really, nothing else works for you but the word. Oh my God, praise Jesus. Praise Jesus that nothing else works but the word. I may not be right. I may be the sinner in the hands of an angry God even at times. And I may be failing every single day. But I know this. I know that nothing else feeds me but the word of God. And I know that nothing else makes sense but the word of God. And I know that nothing else really satisfies me but the word of God. And I can't follow that. We're not calling out the false prophets, but for one reason. So that the true sheep will hear the truth. And they're not going to be continually led astray by false teaching. Yeah, it's up to God, but how can they believe if they don't preach the word? And how will they come to know if we don't send the preachers? That's why we preach the word of God here. It's not to be controversial. It's to love the sheep in the fold who's not hearing the word. I know I was elected and I was saved, but I sat in church for years. I'm sure you did yourself. And I think, what's wrong with me? Can you do that? What's wrong with me? Why am I not getting this? What am I missing here? Why am I not as excited about that? Why can we embrace that? We used to go and sit in green rooms around about thousands of people. Why don't I get this? Why does that make... Why are they able to pursue that? Yet I feel a fake and a phony when I'm pursuing what I don't even like. Because it wasn't the word. And if anything else satisfies you but the word, then you need to get Jesus into your life and he'll change that and turn it around. Amen. Amen. Let's stand together. Thank you, guys. God bless you. Amazing. God's good. Let's bow our heads. Let's pray. Lord Jesus, we come to you this morning. We thank you, God, for your word. Even though we've been through this chapter, it still just carries so much weight and so much life, so much vitality. How you orchestrate everything. We've all been pre-consumed, God. We've all done things that we wish we could turn back the clock when we've been caught up with stuff. We've all done it. And we come to you and we ask for forgiveness and ask that I would keep my eyes fixed on you and I would notice people, I would see people, I wouldn't see them as objects or subjects, or I wouldn't be consumed with my own issues or my own troubles. That I wouldn't notice the broken and the hurting and the people that we should be loving, and we would touch them with our humanity first. We would see them as a human and we would see them as a person. We're not going to be so consumed with that we won't talk about the gospel, but we'll love them and we'll notice them. Help us And this week, not to be consumed with our own issues and our own need for love and comfort and approval. And Lord, lastly, we thank you that we hear your voice as your sheep and nothing else makes sense. Even though we've been frustrated for years, some of us, but nothing makes sense, but your word makes sense, and we maybe even can't describe it or explain it, but it just fits like a jigsaw into our world and into our soul. It fits perfectly into what we believe, even though we didn't know we believed it. It just seems to permeate everything and answer the problems. And like A. Hodge says, as we sit under that, things seem to melt away as we fall to our knees in awe and love, and our worries slip away as we look to you and we focus on you. God, we pray for them who are sitting under wrong teaching that you've called, that you would send us to speak to them, that we would have the courage to speak to them, that we would see the difference between calling out false teaching and trying to win them who are elect back into the rightful pen. And lastly, God, that we ask that if there's some of your sheep here or listening this morning, God, and they've just heard your voice and they've heard you calling them, and they've heard you calling them by name, we pray, God, that you would lead them home, that they would cry out to you, God, that they would acknowledge you in their life. And as we begin to singing this song, if that's you, just within yourself, just maybe take this moment to ask Jesus into your life. Amen.
Come on, sing.
My God, you saved my soul.
We hope you enjoyed the service here at Hope United.
If you'd like to get in touch with us, you can do so on our website, where you'll also find lots more resources.
Thanks for watching. We hope you have a great week. God bless.